My name is Riley, and I deliver pizzas for a small-town joint obsessed with getting every order perfect. We've got this sign behind the counter, like a twisted trophy, counting days since our last mistake. Mess up, and the whole shift does a forfeit. Dumb stuff like cleaning the ovens or singing for customers. It's fun, keeps us sharp, and we pride ourselves on never hearing complaints, even on the rare screw-up. Our regulars are chill, happy for a hot slice, and we're the best in town because we care. That is, until Evelyn. She'd been a regular, always polite, until the night I delivered her order. Something was wrong with that pizza. Something that wasn't just a missing topping. It was alive, and it wanted me. Let me tell you about the night the shadows came with the delivery. It was a Wednesday, just after 5 p.m., the sun sinking into a blood-red haze. I was on delivery duty, the unlucky one after a mix-up at the shop. Someone forgot pineapple on a 20-inch margarita pizza with extra cheese. No big deal. Our perfect pizza promise meant the order was free if we goofed. I grabbed the pizza, the box hotter than usual, almost pulsing in my hands like a heartbeat. I ignored it, chalking it up to the oven, and drove to Evelyn's house. A tidy split level on a quiet street. The air felt thick as I pulled up, the street lights flickering, casting jagged shadows across her lawn. Her station wagon was in the driveway, and I saw her ushering 2 kids, a boy about 12, a girl about 8, out of the car. Her movements rushed, like she was running from something. I stepped out, the pizza box burning my palms, whispering my name, Riley, Riley, in a voice like crackling embers. I shook it off, nerves from the long shift, and approached the door. Evelyn spotted me, her face twisting into a scowl, her eyes glinting like wet glass. She snapped that I was early, her voice sharp, like I'd ruined some plan. I explained that early was good, our delivery times, just estimates, but her eyelid twitched, her cheeks flushing red. The kids bounced with excitement, eyeing the pizza. But Evelyn was already unraveling, her hands trembling as she snatched the box. The streetlights dimmed, and the air grew colder, like a storm was brewing inside her. She tore into the order, inspecting the garlic bread with a stare so intense I thought she'd burn holes through it. She sniffed the rice, the pasta, her nose almost touching them, her breath ragged. Everything was fine until she opened the pizza box. The margarita gleamed, extra cheese dripping, but her face went scarlet, her eyes wide, like she'd seen a ghost. She stared at the pizza, then at me, then back, her voice slow and venomous, accusing me of forgetting the pineapple. I checked the receipt. Damn, she was right. I apologized, explaining the order was free, but the box pulsed harder, whispering, "She knows, Riley." Evelyn didn't care about free. She wanted the pineapple. Her voice a hiss, like something else was speaking through her. The kids piped up, saying they didn't like pineapple, their voices small, the boy's eyes wide with fear. That's when I saw it, in the reflection of the car window behind Evelyn. Her face wasn't hers. It was eyeless, a gaping black void where her mouth should be, twisting like a scream. My stomach dropped. She shrieked about the pineapple, her voice splitting into a chorus not human, and hurled the pizza box at me. It hit my face, the cheese searing my skin like acid. The box's whispers, now a scream. "Riley, she's coming." I stumbled back, pain blinding me, as the kids screamed, the girl sobbing. Evelyn blamed me, her voice a growl, as if I'd caused her outburst. Then she lunged, her manicured nails gleaming like claws, her face in the window's reflection now a writhing mass of shadows. I shut my eyes, shielding them as her nails raked my cheek, drawing blood, the pain sharp and hot. The kids were screaming, I was screaming, and Evelyn was a howling beast, her shadow in the window, stretching, arms too long, coiling like snakes. Suddenly, a force barreled past me. A neighbor, Tara, a tall woman from down the street. She tackled Evelyn, sending her crashing into trash bins, the clatter echoing like bones breaking. I wiped the burning cheese from my face, my vision blurry, as Tara checked on me, her voice steady but shaken. The kids wailed, and Evelyn was up again, charging Tara, her keys clutched like a blade, their tips glinting red, like they'd been dipped in blood. I couldn't let Tara get hurt. Adrenaline surged, and I grabbed Evelyn as she lunged, my arm hooking hers in a clumsy but solid tackle. She hit the ground, winded, her face in the streetlight's glow, now human, but wrong. Like a mask slipping. The kids cheered, their voices trembling, as Tara sat on Evelyn, pinning her until the police arrived. The kid's father, Evan, showed up, his face pale, taking them away. The cops hauled Evelyn off, and Tara and I gave statements at the station. Later, Evan explained, Evelyn was unraveling from a divorce, hooked on pills, her mind fracturing. She'd been carving strange symbols into her walls, muttering about the order being wrong, like it was a sign. Those symbols matched the ones burned into the pizza box, which I found in my car later, though I'd left it on her lawn. The cops sent Evelyn to a psych ward, then rehab, and Evan got custody of the kids. The pizza box is locked in my trunk, but it whispers my name at night, its symbols glowing faintly. The shop gave Tara and Evan free pizza for life, and my forfeit was waived. Getting clawed by a possessed soccer mom was punishment enough. But I see Evelyn's eyeless face in mirrors, hear her voice in the oven's hum, feel her claws in my dreams. She wasn't just unhinged. She was touched by something dark, something that wanted that pineapple for a reason I'll never understand. My name is Mark, and in the early 2000s, I was a 20-year-old delivering pizzas to pay my way through college in a bustling city. It was a grind, but I loved the job, driving through quiet suburbs, chatting with customers, pocketing tips. One couple, the Thompsons, were my favorites. They were this sweet elderly pair in a cozy bungalow, ordering a single pizza every Friday, always with a warm smile and a few bucks extra. I'd linger sometimes, swapping stories about their garden or my classes. But one night, their order was different. 8 huge pizzas, way more than usual. I figured they were hosting a party, maybe for their grandkids, and headed out, excited to see them. What I found wasn't a party. It was a nightmare, and something in that house wanted me to stay forever. Let me tell you about the night. The walls came alive. It was a chilly Friday evening, the sky a deep indigo, streetlights buzzing faintly. The shop was hectic, but I volunteered to take the Thompson order. 8 pizzas, a mix of pepperoni, cheese, and veggie, stacked high in my car. The receipt felt heavy in my pocket, like it carried a weight beyond paper. Driving to their bungalow, I noticed the neighborhood felt wrong. Too quiet. The air thick, like a storm was brewing inside the houses. The Thompsons' place looked the same, with its neat lawn and glowing porch light, but a low hum pulsed from the walls, like a heartbeat. As I approached, techno music thumped from below, loud and erratic, shaking the ground. I knocked, pizza boxes balanced in my arms, and the door swung open. My heart stopped. It wasn't Mr. or Mrs. Thompson. It was a figure in a tattered wolf fursuit, its eyes glowing a sickly yellow, like dying embers in the dark. The wolf gestured for the pizzas, its movements jerky, like a puppet on frayed strings. It patted empty pockets, mimicking a shrug, then pointed inside, urging me to follow. I hesitated. Entering a customer's house was against every rule, but the Thompsons were like family, and something felt off. The hum grew louder, the house's walls creaking as if breathing. Against my better judgment, I stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind me, the lock clicking like a bone snapping. A second figure loomed, a bear in a moth-eaten fursuit, its eyes glowing the same yellow, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. It reminded me of something from a horror flick, but worse, like it was wearing the bear's skin as a mask for something else. The techno beat throbbed, and the air smelled of chemicals and decay, sharp enough to burn my throat. I clutched the pizzas, demanding payment and asking where the Thompsons were. The wolf and bear shook with silent laughter, their glowing eyes unblinking, and pointed to the basement stairs. Every horror movie screamed at me to run, but I needed to know the Thompsons were safe. The house's hum turned into a whisper. Mark, stay. And the walls seemed to pulse, the wallpaper curling like skin. I set the pizzas on the kitchen counter and followed them downstairs, my heart pounding. The basement was a fever dream. Furries in tattered costumes, owls, cats, a unicorn, swayed to the techno, their eyes all glowing yellow, moving like they weren't in control. At the center was a man in a bat mask and a cape. Nothing else. His skin pale and slick, like he'd crawled from a swamp. In the corner, a table held a chaotic mess of glass vials and burners. A meth lab glowing green, like a shrine to something unholy. The Thompsons sat on a sagging couch, their faces pale, eyes wide with terror. I asked if they were okay, and Mrs. Thompson whispered about their grandson, pointing to the wolf, saying he'd brought friends. Mr. Thompson shook his head, his voice trembling, explaining they didn't know what to do. The furries hadn't threatened them outright, but the air felt heavy, like the house itself was watching. The Batman turned, his glowing eyes locking onto me, and the hum became a growl, the walls trembling. I grabbed the Thompsons' hands, urging them to leave. We reached the stairs, the furries swaying behind us, their costumes splitting at the seams, revealing glimpses of something not human underneath. The bear blocked the hallway, its head twitching, and Mrs. Thompson stifled a sob. Then a low rumble shook the basement, followed by a deafening explosion. Green flames erupted from the meth lab, and the furries scattered, coughing and shrieking, their voices not human, but like static. The Batman sprinted past, his cape flapping as he dove out the front door. The wolf, the grandson, shoved Mrs. Thompson aside, and I caught her, dragging both Thompsons onto the lawn as another explosion rocked the house. Flames licked the hallway, the hum now a scream. Mark, you're mine. Furries fled in every direction, their costumes burning, their glowing eyes fading to black. The Thompsons clung to each other, Mrs. Thompson crying, Mr. Thompson staring at the house as it burned. The wolf and bear sped off in a car, but the Batman stayed, collapsing on the grass, muttering about the shrine and a deal gone wrong. He later testified, revealing he was a lawyer hiding a secret life, but his words hinted at something darker controlling them. The police arrived, and the Thompsons were safe, though shaken. The house was gutted, the meth lab's chemicals blamed, but I saw the walls pulse before the flames took them. I stopped delivering to the Thompsons. It felt wrong after that night. The Batman's testimony helped the police, but he vanished soon after. The Thompsons moved away, and the shop gave them free pizzas for life. But I couldn't shake the feeling that the house wasn't done with me. At night, I hear that hum in my dreams, see those glowing eyes in my rearview mirror, feel the walls closing in. The furries weren't just high, they were puppets for something in that house, something that wanted me to stay. My name is Mason, and I deliver pizzas for a little joint in a small Kentucky town, where we're the best around, no question. It's not just our buy one, get one free Fridays that draw folks in. It's our reach. We've got delivery cars with heated seats to keep pizzas hot, so we can hit spots way out in the boonies, places our competitors won't touch. One of our regular stops is a halfway house, tucked in the woods on the edge of town, home to ex-cons and guys trying to stay clean. Other pizzerias say it's too far, but I know they're just spooked by the residents. Me? I love the run. Those guys tip big, share wild stories, and sometimes, when my shift's done, the supervisor lets me join them for a slice. It's the kind of place where you feel like you're making a difference, delivering a hot pie to folks rebuilding their lives. That was until Vince. That night, something came with the pizza. Something that saw me in the mirror, and it's still watching. Let me tell you about the delivery that broke me. It was a chilly November night. The sky a heavy black. The road to the halfway house swallowed by pines. The shop was quiet when an order came through. A single 12-inch pepperoni pizza. Odd for the halfway house, where they usually get enough for a crowd. I grabbed the pizza, the box warm in my hands, but it pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat, thumping against my palms. I figured it was just the heat playing tricks, but when I set it on the passenger seat, the thumping grew louder, steady, like something alive inside. The receipt was smudged, the name Vince barely legible, as if written in ash. I drove out, the car's heated seat doing little to warm the chill creeping up my spine. The halfway house loomed ahead, its windows dark except for a single porch light, flickering like it was struggling to stay on. The air felt wrong, thick, like it was pressing against my chest. I pulled up, headlights catching a figure pacing outside. Vince, the receipt said. He was scrawny, his face ghost pale, eyes darting like he was hunted. He clutched a phone, his fingers twitching, scratching his neck until it bled. But it was his skin that stopped me cold. Black veins crawled under it, writhing like worms, pulsing in time with the pizza box. I called out, asking if he was Vince, but my voice faltered. His head snapped toward me, eyes sunken, and the veins on his face twisted into a jagged grin, moving on their own. The pizza box thumped harder, the cardboard bulging, as if something inside wanted out. In the halfway house's front window, a mirror caught my reflection, or what should have been my reflection. Instead, it showed me with hollow eyes, my face warped, grinning back with teeth too sharp, mimicking my every move. I pulled the pizza from the bag, ready to hand it over and bolt. Vince had paid online, and I wasn't expecting a tip or a chat, not with him looking like that. He muttered something about his ex, his voice low, like he was talking to someone else. Then, without warning, he lunged, slamming his fist into the pizza box, driving it into my face. The cardboard hit hard, hot cheese burning my skin, and the box's heartbeat pulsed against my cheek. I stumbled, dazed, as Vince swung again, his fist catching my temple, softened by the box. Then a sharp jab to my ribs. His strength was unnatural, like his wiry frame was fueled by something else. The veins on his arms wriggling faster. He shoved me aside, sprinting for my car. I'd left the keys in the ignition to keep the headlights on. Stupid move. Vince jumped in, the engine roaring as he peeled out, nearly clipping me with a wild U-turn. I scrambled up, tossing the mangled pizza box aside, its heartbeat now a frantic thud. My phone was gone, lost in the grass, and the mirror in the window showed that warped version of me, its grin wider, clawing at the glass from the inside. I heard a crash down the road, metal crunching, car alarms blaring. Vince had made it 2 blocks before losing control, slamming into parked cars in a nearby neighborhood. I staggered to the halfway house, banging on the door, desperate for answers. The supervisor opened it, his face ashen, and told me about Vince. He'd been out of jail a few days, fresh off meth, obsessed with an ex who'd moved on, now engaged and living states away. Vince had seen our flyer, ordered the pizza, and planned to steal my car to hunt her fiancé. Maybe her too, driven by a deranged need for revenge. But the supervisor paused, glancing at the mirror, now empty, and muttered that Vince had been carving strange patterns into his bed frame, like the veins on his skin. The cops found Vince in the wreckage, both legs crushed, later amputated, one above the knee, one below. He went back to prison ranting about a face in the mirror, pushing him to act. The crashed cars were fixed, and my boss gave me a warning about the keys but kept me on. I'm a manager now at a new branch, and we still deliver to the halfway house, where the guys beg me to retell the story. But I don't mention the pizza box, still in my trunk, its heartbeat faint but steady. I found my phone, its screen cracked, showing a selfie I didn't take, me, but with hollow eyes and crawling veins. At night, I catch my reflection in windows, my face warped, grinning like the mirror showed.